tonight and also Maxey, they were very integral in the game.
Great. They're always great, Sometimes you don't see the numbers, but they always just don't complain, just play defense, play offense, and they were great.
How big was that basket that Maxey hit that put you guys up about 6 with a little bit over 2 minutes left?
Huge. It's not a word. It was huge.
Just tell us how he played overall tonight, your thoughts on Maxey.
Great. I just told you. You asked me about PJ and Maxey, right? I told you they play great.
Okay. All right.
Luka, they obviously wanted to attack you a lot defensively. They did not have much success doing that. You know they're trying to make you work as hard as possible on that end. What do you think of that challenge, and what does that do just in terms of cranking up your competitive juices?
That's fine. I accept it. It gets me going on the offensive end too. So they don't want to attack me. That's fine. I think I play good defense today. So just gotta stay locked in.
Right here to your right.
Luka, as the playoffs kicks off and the intensity increases, how do you mentally prepare transitioning from the regular season to the playoffs?
For me, nothing special. It's basketball at the end of the day. I do this, my whole life basically. Just trying to have fun out there. Players are fun. The intensity is way higher. And just go out there, play hard, and have fun.
Luka, Jason, I don't know if he was joking or not, actually. I couldn't say. He was saying that the techs are good for you, that you get more focused afterward. And that getting a tech is good for you.
Oh.
Well, first he said that you just wanted to make sure you could do it because it's been a while since you got a tech. But
it wasn't a tech for sure.
But he did say in a really positive way that you just emotionally focused down after that. And can you sort of take us through your mindset, especially in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, my mindset in fourth quarter is trying to win the game. Sometimes I'll drive, somebody's going to be open, but just trying to win the game, trying to make big plays. I know I got Kai next to me, so it makes my life easier. And just go get a win.
Right here to your right.
Luka, Jason Kidd talked about you guys, you and Kyrie's leadership, guiding the team throughout this first round of the playoffs. And can you elaborate on how Kyrie's championship experience has been helpful to y'all throughout this first round so far?
Big. Me and Kai got to be great leaders for other players, other coaches. I think we went down 6 in the fourth quarter, and we all just stayed together. Me and Kai was talking on the bench, and we just keep the guys together, and that's what we have to do.
Luka, what did you like about the matchup you had there when Harden was guarding you at the top of the key and you made your step back three?
It was a big moment. I think it was a big 3. But just trying to get to my spot and then knock down the 3.
Luka, you've been playing against Kawhi your whole career, especially in the playoffs. This is the 3rd time. What did he look like tonight for you, and just especially defensively, him guarding you? What did you see from him?
He's an unbelievable player. We all know when the playoffs come, he's even better. He's locked in defensively and offensively, so it's really tough to stop him. So I learned a lot playing against him, and he's an unbelievable player.
It's only 2 games into this series, but I wondered, and as you look around the rest of the NBA, is the physicality a lot different than past playoffs you've played in? And also, are you guys more built for that than maybe you were early this season?
For sure, it's more physical. Rest, not calling them any fouls. I think they're just letting us play, which is fine. Just gotta be same on both ends. But I think it's fine. They're letting us play. It's a lot more hits in there. But yeah, for sure. It's not how you start. It's how you end. So I think we're ready. But we got 3 more wins to go. So in this series.
Luka, your teammates have talked about how you've just been really encouraging. Maxey talked about how, you came up to him after that big rebound, big 3. What point in your career did you realize just how much of an impact you could have on your teammates just by giving them a little bit more positivity as the best player?
I think probably entering my second season, my rookie season, we lost a lot of games, but we started winning in my second season. So I think for that moment, I just got to talk to my teammates, be encouraged all the time, and just help them out.
Hola, Luka. Me gustaría preguntarte cómo puedes describir el reto que estás enfrentando. Hoy parecía Luka contra Harden, Luka contra Westbrook, Luka contra Josh, contra Kawhi. Se siente que tienes todo el peso en tus hombros. ¿Cómo describes este reto, particularmente contra esos 4 futuros Hall of Famers igual que tú?
Sí, creo que todos son buenísimos defensores y bueno, mi reto siempre me gusta tener retos. Al final hay que ganar el partido y lo hemos hecho, pero me gusta tener retos.
¿Qué tal, Luka? Otra en español. Quería preguntarte sobre la intensidad en general. Hoy hablaban de esa intensidad que se mostró como equipo, esa agresividad en defensa y también lo que decía el coach. ¿Tú en lo personal sentías que debías mostrar esa intensidad, esa agresividad el día de hoy?
Sí, porque creo que en la primera parte, el primer partido, no hemos hecho no teníamos intensidad, no teníamos energía. Así que ese fue un partido muy importante de hoy y quería desde el principio empezar así.
Thank you.
Kyrie, you guys talked about being more physical this game. Clearly you were. I wondered, as you look at this game and the way the playoffs are playing out with lower scores, more physical plays, do you feel like you guys are more equipped to play that style of basketball than maybe you were early in the year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're prepared for this time of year. We've been practicing pretty hard against each other, consistently throughout the year. We obviously had some injuries, and we weren't able to kind of grow as a group as much as we would have liked. But I think towards the end of the season, we really took practice serious, and we knew what we were getting ready for in the playoffs, matchups potentially, and I think we have to use that to our advantage to a certain degree. We have our depth, but at the end of the day, we're going to need our best players out there to be able to consistently make the right decisions. And tonight was one of those nights for us where we figured it out throughout the 4 quarters. And, once that third quarter and fourth quarter hit, I feel like our physicality warmed down a little bit. And, we could just take some of those positive notes into next game. And I think it comes from the regular season preparation and also being well-conditioned and pushing ourselves and knowing what we have left in the tank. So,
Kyrie, what stood out to you most about the performance on the defensive end tonight?
I think what stuck out to me most, just imagery-wise or memory-wise, was just we got a warning from one of the refs telling us that we were complaining too much. So I think once you hear that, it's a pretty physical game, and we're not a big complaining team. We're not a big complaining team. I think sometimes, obviously, emotions can, get a little high, but that's all part of it. And I think you kind of saw me out there and just trying to make sure that we kept our heads on straight and we didn't allow that to affect us or impact us in a negative way. So it's a physical game both ways, and we know what to expect for the rest of the series. We're going against some potential Hall of Famers that play the game at a high level, and they know personnel very well. So you got to give them respect, but also you got to go at them, and that's a competitor's dream.
Yo, what's up, Kai? Hey, so when it comes to the playoffs so far, you see the officiating is much different. They're allowing you guys to play a little more. So do you have to tailor your game slight a bit differently since the game's not as free-flowing and things like that?
Yeah, that's the playoffs right there. And if you rewatch some of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s basketball series, you can see that the game slows down. Some of the great players, some of their PPG either goes up or goes down. Their efficiency either goes up or go down depending on the series and who you're going against. You just got to be, ready for the unknown. All teams are going to throw different things at you. But when you're particularly in a series, you just got to be prepared to take advantage of your opportunities when you see them and be able to make the plays within the plays. And also, the hustle matters. Those 50-50 basketballs. And I think that we can look back at tonight and see that we had a lot of fast break opportunities where we turned the ball over and we didn't fully take advantage. So we left some points on the board. It's no time to feel down about it. We just know we have to be efficient, and that's what the playoffs is about, is just being efficient at the right time, making big shots at the right time, and trusting your game plan and not deviating.
Kai, what's up, man? I left the gym at what? I mean, I left to come here at 2 p.m. to get here at 3 because I knew you're going to be one of the first people out on the floor. Yeah. The work that you put in, man, like even with the finishes, left and right finishes. But one thing that really stuck out to me this summer, you were at a junior college working out with a lot of kids and hooping in there just as if you were going against superstars. Talk about the work, man, what that means, putting the work in, and then when nobody is watching and when the cameras aren't on, just putting in that work and also just being dedicated to that.
Yeah, I think failure will inspire you more than you can imagine. And not being able to make the playoffs last year definitely hurt, stung, brought a lot of pain. And the only way I, felt other than doing my prayer and meditation, but being able to express some of those emotions was going on the basketball court. I was right down the street at LA Tech, and some of my friends just being consistent with me throughout those days. I'm grateful for all those times them pushing me. I was watching playoff games and then going to the gym the next day and be like, man, we should have been in the freaking playoffs. So just imagining myself in different situations and pushing myself, in like early April, May, and I was staying consistent. And I think that helped enable me to be well conditioned coming into the season, and be able to flourish at the right time, put in the work, not for anybody else but myself and my family. And just reaping the rewards feels good, but also when you don't make shots, you also have to have that same mentality and continue to battle through. That's what this competitive level is about, is not losing your head through some of the mistakes that you make and continue to put in the work.
The game flipped in the midway through the fourth when your team scored 14 in a row. Can you tell us how you were able to change the game?
Yeah, we talked about it in the huddle, just what the fourth quarter meant, what we had to do, and we knew what adjustments they were making, and it was just about us making the right plays and feeling good about it and feeding each other confidence at the right time.
Hey, Kai. You've had co-stars of very varying temperaments, right? Some very mellow. Luka, obviously, much more emotional. What
We're all emotional. We're human.
Well.
But I hear you.
So, some guys you've played with are they're very chill on the court. Mm-hmm. And Luka is not. Mm-hmm. And Jason was saying earlier that he actually thinks he gets more focused after he gets teed up. He's joking he hadn't gotten a tee in a while. I wanted to make sure he could still do it. Yeah. But he was also really supportive of his teammates tonight emotionally, too. You could really see him going after guys and pumping them up. What is it like to be on the court with that, when he's hot and can't control himself, or when he's like he was tonight? What is that like to be on the court with?
Yeah, I've learned obviously from playing with other co-stars, but specifically with Luka, it's just you got to trust him and you got to let him be him and allow him to, grow. He's very young still, very well accomplished, but I know his overall goal is to win a championship, and it's the same for me. So that's our focus. It's not so much about kind of our emotions and our reactions, just settling. Yeah, absolutely. He's an incredible leader next to me, and we do it with others around us too, and we empower each other to have that voice. And when he's emotional, he's honest, and I appreciate that. I'd rather be out there with someone that's emotional and wants to do better for themselves and for the team than someone that's quiet or just allowing things to happen and kind of depending on everybody else to step in. He's one of those type leaders where he just wants to come in, make his presence be felt, and sometimes when he gets text, you just got to live with it and move on. And that's where we are, man. It's the playoffs, and those little things you just got to kind of bury and move on.
Hey, Guy. I know you talked about the Clippers having future Hall of Famers, but one in particular, James Harden, who you had to battle against tonight. What is the process of preparing for a guard like James Harden and other guards that if they get hot, they could take over a game?
Yeah, you just got to be smart with your approach to what you watch on film, because James capable of going for 30 any night, but he obviously is playing with Paul George and Kawhi, so it's a different dynamic. And I think tonight showed that. So, last game he has 28 points, 20 points going into halftime. It's a different pace, it's a different rhythm. He's playing with a different flow. So you just got to be aware of when you get those opportunities to guard him. Just weigh on him a little bit and make it tough, make it as tough as possible.
Hi, Kai. Ashton from Swish Cultures. Seeing you work out 30 minutes prior, I saw you like doing look-offs and working on every variation of your game. Can you talk about how everything you do is super intentional and how it prepares you for matchups like this?
Absolutely. The imagination that I have has empowered me to be able to work on my craft in different ways, and remaining consistent has been able to make me successful. But the fun nuances of working on your game when you're missing shots in pregame and those look-offs are just imaginary defenders to me, and just going against an array of defenders, you never know what you're going to see. I had Paul George tonight, I had Terrence Mann, I had Norman Powell for a little bit, I had Russell Westbrook. So it's just more or less finding my spots on the floor that I want to attack and being able to work on them at a very kind of middle ground intensity. I don't want to go high intense, but I know that I have to be intentional with making shots, and then also knowing that sometimes my footwork's going to be a little off, or I'm going to miss shots. So I try not to get mentally bogged down and just prepare for what's coming. I'm going to make or miss shots, but when those shots are right on line, my feet are right, it doesn't matter who's there, and I get a good look, then it's going in. So it's just that confidence building. Appreciate you asking that.
Kawhi's obviously working his way back from an injury. I'm curious, he's considered one of the playoff risers. What did you see out of him today, and what's kind of the challenge going to be as he kind of works his way into the shape that he wants to be, in the game shape that he wants to be?
One of the hardest things to do, as any professional athlete, is to sit for a month or 3 weeks and then come back into a playoff game or a high intense game and play well at that. So I think tonight he showed flashes of his brilliance, of what we know Kawhi to be, and we just got to be aware of how much of a different impact he can make on the game. And when he gets it going and he gets in that rhythm, we just got to be ready to defend him. That's really it's a great player.
Yeah, PJ, I was just going to ask you, the bounce back game tonight, how did you feel out there overall as far as your overall game?
Felt great. Obviously, it was a must-win for us, so everybody was locked in, and everybody played well, so I'm just happy we got a win.
What got into you in that fourth quarter? You had 10 of your points in the fourth quarter, made some big shots also.
It was a big game, and obviously we needed it, so just had to lock in and just try to make the open ones.
Right here to your left.
How big of an adjustment was it for you? Not only the game one was your first playoff game, but a much different, style of play than the regular season. How much did you learn from that? Anything specifically that you learned from that you took into tonight?
Just how physical the game was. Obviously, they punched us in the mouth coming in game one, so we just wanted to respond tonight, and I feel like we set the tone defensively and with our aggression out there. So I feel like we did a great job, and I'm just glad we came in here and got a win.
What about you personally?
I just love being physical, so it's all fun and games for me.
How much did confidence factor into your efficiency tonight?
It's hard work. I mean, I just got to trust my work, and I've been working hard all year, all summer, and my whole life. So just got to go in and play basketball.
And also, how does the trust of your team also helps with that as well?
It's great. I mean, it's always great when you have your whole team behind you, telling you to take the next shot and just cheering you on. So credit to them, and I'm just glad I'm here.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, guys.
Immediately went on a 14-0 run. What did you tell your team during that timeout?
Yeah, we've talked about this, the game of runs. The Clippers made a run. The big thing is to stay together. And that was, again, we've seen teams take the lead, and just the big thing is that they truly believe that they can stay together, and we answered with the run. We just felt that we had some great looks. The Clippers are a very good team, and so we knew that they weren't just going to go away. But I thought the response after that timeout just shows, how competitive the guys are and how bad they wanted to win.
How big was the play of Maxey tonight, particularly that three-pointer that put you guys up 6?
Yeah, Maxey was big. The catch and shoot with the double teams. Again, we've seen this all season when they're going to take the ball out of Luka or Kai's hands. Luka's making the right plays. He's accepting the double team, and then I think the trust that those guys have with one another, not just Luka and Maxey, but those 5 that are on the floor.
Doncic was obviously pretty good offensively there in the fourth quarter, but I want to ask you about his defense, and I was thinking particularly about when Kawhi posted him up and he forced him into a tough spot. Tough shot there.
Yeah, I think his defense has been great this whole series, understanding that we know that they're going to put him in on every pick and roll. And a couple of years ago, we saw this, and he's made understand that we had to tell him to participate. But I think he's participating at a high level on both ends. We need him on the offensive end, but we also need him on the defensive end, and he's been able to do that here in the first 2 games.
Rashad Miller, Dallas Weekly. How important was it for PJ to have his confidence and to be efficient tonight? And also, how did it feel to keep the Clips under 100 tonight?
Yeah, both teams were under 100. It was 90s basketball at its best. Just understanding what PJ means to us on the defensive end, but we talked about Maxey making some threes, but PJ made some big threes for us too. And so just being able to play both ways, being able to step up and make those free throws down the stretch for his first series, and when you talk about the playoffs, he's been big for us. He's been big since we've got him in the trade, and we really rely on him defensively to be able to guard those guys from the Clippers, because it's just not one. It seems like he's guarding everyone.
Jason.
Yeah. Hey.
Luka always plays with so much emotion. Tonight seemed it was even on overdrive, especially in the good way, supporting teammates, being really vocal out there. What difference does that make when you are the one out on the court and you're with a guy like that who's being that way, especially on a night like tonight?
Yeah, I think anytime we talk about the positive energy, we know that Luka plays with a lot of emotion. And, sometimes that could, paralyze a teammate or two. But I think you can see with him encouraging his teammates, the response was a positive. Being able to make plays with being double teamed, the trust that he has when he gives it to PJ or to Gaff or to Lively. A lot of times stars coming down a stretch will ignore the double team and try to beat the double team and do it themselves. But Luka really understands the game, and he trusts his teammates and the energy. Again, with him, I think getting the tee, it's been a long time since he's gotten the tee. So I think he was just trying to see if he can get a tee. He got it. We all know he knows how to get a tee. But again, his emotion, we need that, and we need that in a positive way.
Hey, Coach, following up on that, after he gets a tee, he comes out in the fourth quarter, renewed intensity on the defensive end. Just wondering what it was like to sort of coach him through that stretch and watch him regulate himself and channel that.
A lot of times, and we've seen tees before with him, a lot of times he'll turn that into a positive. He, for whatever reason, will channel that energy. He turns it to someone else, and he takes his game to another level. A lot of times when you get a tee, you sometimes can go the opposite way. It could be a negative, but I think a lot of times he is using that to get himself going, or he's trying to locate someone in the stands to get him going. And so when you look at his emotions, he wants to win. He wants to do everything to win, and sometimes that's just one way that he fires himself up.
Jason, when Luka competes like he did tonight defensively, especially on ball, obviously they're trying to go at him as much as possible. What effect does that have on the guys around him?
Well, I think we all know when he's playing at that level, they have to step up too. They understand the responsibility of their leader. When he's going to play defense and participate, they have to be able to do the same thing. And so again, he's leading not just on the offensive end, but the defensive end. He's made some great plays, coming up with steals and then rebounds, and then being able to guard the ball. That's something that, we know that teams are going to put him in the pick and roll, and he knows that. So he's been able to pick his spots and understands that we need those stops. And again, when you can hold the Clippers, because they're a great offensive team, under 100 points, that shows that we're playing defense at a high level.
Jason, I know you joked about this being 90s basketball at its best, but it seems like with the officiating and the wings that you have, you're better equipped to play more physical on the wings because you have the athletes to do it.
Yeah, ever since March something, we could see there was a shift in the officiating and that there were, less whistles and the physicality had, stepped up. So we embraced it, and that's who we are. And tonight or the playoffs are no different. The physicality, it's about players making plays. And tonight we were fortunate enough to make enough plays on both ends to find a way to win on the road. But we're not afraid of the physicality. I think that's what we were a little bit disappointed in game one, was that we weren't physical. Maybe the rust or maybe the time off. But again, tonight we started off, we played 48 minutes of physical basketball, and we found a way to win.
You take us through real quick. The coach's challenge turned out to be pretty pivotal. Was this something you saw, somebody on the bench?
We talked about it. I had 2 timeouts, so we kind of felt we can burn one on a challenge. Kai said he hit the ball, so he got trust, and it turned out to be right, and that was a big challenge.
Just going back to Luka a little bit, he played nearly 46 minutes tonight. Just how big is conditioning at this time of the year when you pretty much got to give it your all?
Yeah, he's young. He's 22. He's Benjamin Buttons. He's going backwards. He's young. If you ask him, he's going to tell you he can play 48. I thought we were trying to maximize different ways to get him rest. Now on the sheet it's going to say 45, but we believe that being able to use a timeout during the free throws to get him that rest is a little bit longer than normal. So, but when he's on the floor, he's a plus, and we need him on the floor.
Tim Cato, The Athletic. I was also going to ask about Luka and his rest. Did Luka signal for that timeout, or did that just come from you reading where his energy levels were?
I think he wanted a timeout. I told him we were taking a timeout, but we were going to take him out during the free throws, so he agreed. As you know, he never wants to call a timeout or come out of the game, but we needed to find a way to get him some rest, and it's just one of the creative ways that we've talked about of trying to get our star players rest while they're shooting free throws.
And then one more Luka moment. Did you exhale when the pass he made to Kyrie in the very final seconds that I think led to the closing free throws for Kyrie, when that actually got through the window, that very narrow window that he passed it through? Yeah,
you trust your quarterback. He's made a lot of passes that a lot of people can't make. It just comes down to the receiver being able to catch it, and Kai caught it and went to the free throw line. But we trust with Luka being able to quarterback, especially as well as the Clippers' hands are in those situations to come up with deflections or steals. You believe when he throws it that he believes that his receiver is going to catch it.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you about Zubac. I know he hurt you guys in game one. How do you think you guys did on him tonight?
We did better. He still posted us up and scored, but I thought the effort was better. The physicality helped, but we made it harder. And sometimes, that they're good and he's good, and so even when you play perfect defense, sometimes they still score. But I thought we did a great job of concentrating on making sure that he didn't do what he did in game one. Thanks.